summarize, as Moses was returning to Mizra from Midian, Yemen, God talked to him at Tur Valley, that is next to the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, at the Sudanese-Abyssinian border, which is currently called Al-Gadarif, which was the southern part of Mizra before the British colonisation.
Sanin and Sina, according to tafsir books and authentic Arabic dictionaries, are popular nouns with Abyssinian origin. So the Tur, Sanin, and the Tur, Sina, are the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur that is known to be the Abyssinian Tower, the source of the full flooding river, which is Al-Bahr al-Major, or the River Nile, the origin of the first civilization on earth. God ordered Moses to escape with the Israelites from the western side of Mecca, which is southern Misr, now northern Sudan, to the south, where the Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, is located. Moses settled with the Israelites on the Abyssinian Tower, or the Tur. When Moses told the Israelites afterwards, go down to Misr, it really meant linguistically to go down from the top of the heights to the valley.
So moving forward, do Jews still live in the Abyssinian highlands? Absolutely. The Ethiopian Jews, Flasha Jews, or as they're also called, Beta Israel, live in the Abyssinian highlands, or the Tur, in total isolation from Ethiopian society. Even their looks are different from the rest of the Ethiopians, as they have to some extent lighter skin, because of their origins as the descendants of the Nubian Kush, who settled in Abyssinia after Moses escaped from Pharaoh in North Sudan, or more precisely, in the southern part of Misr before the 1899 border division that separated Sudan from Misr.
In the mid-1980s, large numbers of the Flasha Jews emigrated to Israel. They have their own synagogues and they live on the borders of the Arab and Muslim neighbourhoods, separating them from the rest of the Jews. Flasha in the Ethiopian language means to emigrate, and it's clear from this name that these Jews are the ones who arrived to Abyssinian highlands, the Tur, as a result of their immigration with Moses, escaping from the Pharaoh. One of the main things that differentiate Flasha Jews from other Jews is that they don't believe the Talmud, and they only believe in the first 5 books from the Old Testament, which are preserved in their Ge'ez language, which is a South Arabian language. The Flasha Jews do not believe in Talmud, as they believe it's fabricated, thus protecting the origins of Judaism from deviation. The Flasha believe in the God of the Israelites, who has chosen them over the rest of humanity. They believe in the 10 Commandments and pay significant attention to the rules of purity, which are pretty strict. For example, the purification of women after menstruation, which follows quite a complicated process. One of the most important means of worship for Jewish Flasha are prayers, and they perform these prayers in a synagogue called Masjid. The Flasha do not enter the Masjid with their shoes, similar to Muslims, a practice that is not followed by other sects of Jews or Christians. Their hymns are in the Ge'ez language, not in Hebrew, and they pray 3 times a day, after sunrise, midday and after sunset. It's key here to remind ourselves of the first verses of Surat al-Tur and try to make sense of them. By the Tur, and the book written in organised lines on an unrolled goat skin, and by the house frequented, and by the roof exalted, and by the Bahr kept filled, or the large body of water kept filled. Let's get started with and by the house frequented. The obvious understanding is that on the Tur, on the Tower Heights, on the biggest highest spot in all of the Arabian and African region, the Abyssinian highlands, there is a place of worship. On the Abyssinian highlands exists the oldest place of worship, the Temple of Yeha. The oldest standing structure in Ethiopia was able to resist earthquakes that swept through the area. The Temple of Yeha goes back to before Christianity and Islam. It was built in the days of the Prophet Solomon and is now considered to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Yeha temple was built as a cube, exactly the same as the Kaaba, which is not considered a typical Abyssinian building style at that time. Archaeologists in Ethiopia and worldwide consider cubical buildings to be only limited to the region of the Arabian Peninsula. It is thus clear that whoever built the Yeha temple was inspired by a similar structure in the Arabian Peninsula.
The interior of the Yeha temple is similar to any Abyssinian church or temple. It consists of 3 main parts: the place where hymns are sung, the second where the priests give the Eucharist, and the third is the sacred space called the Holy of Holies, or the Maqdas in the Ge'ez language, where worshippers place the Tabut, or the Ark of the Covenant. Let's take a deep breath here and stop at the linguistic meaning of words in different languages.
Sacred or Muqaddas in Giaz, the Abyssinian language, means Holy of Holies, which in Hebrew is called Beit Maqdash. Since the Giaz language, which is a South Arabian language, is older than Hebrew, it's clearly evident that the word Muqaddas was first brought to existence in the Abyssinian temples, and afterwards came the word Beit Maqdash in Hebrew. As we just mentioned, Muqaddas is the location inside the Abyssinian temple that has the Tabot or Ark of the Covenant, whether it is the true Ark or a structure in the shape of the true Ark. What if I tell you that the Yeha temple is the actual place that used to hold the true Ark of the Covenant before it was moved to the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Ethiopia? This church is surrounded by tight security and no one is allowed to approach it except for one priest who spends his life inside and has to be a descendant of Prophet Solomon. The Yeha temple is the sacred house, Bayat al-Muqaddas, that people raised on the Tur, the Abyssinian highlands, referring to the house frequented, or al-Bayt al-Mamur, before the rise of Islam and Christianity. So what is this Tabut, or Ark of the Covenant? The Ark of the Covenant is the most important religious artifact for the three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. For Muslims it is called Tabut al-Sakina, or Ark of Tranquility. It was mentioned in the Quran in verse 248 al-Surat al-Baqarah. And further their prophet said to them, a sign of his authority is that there shall come to you the Ark of the Covenant, the Tabut, with an assurance therein of security from your Lord, and the relics left by the family of Moses and the family of Aaron, carried by angels. In this is a symbol for you if ye indeed have faith. The Ark of the Covenant is a symbol of the covenant between God and humans. It holds the 10 commandments given to Moses, in which God ordered humans to follow and preserve, whether you were Muslim, Christian or Jewish. According to the verse in the Quran, God sent the Ark of the Covenant to the Israelites, carried by the angels between earth and heaven, until it was laid down on earth. The 10 commandments were inscribed on stone tablets, which included a few things that were specific to Moses, such as the staff of Moses or his walking stick that was transformed into a snake in front of Pharaoh's magicians.
The key question here is, where is the Ark of the Covenant? Where is the chest that contained the stone tablets of the 10 commandments? Its current location is the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Abyssinia, and as we mentioned before, it was previously held in the Yeha temple, which is also referred to as Bayt al-Muqaddas. It's pertinent here to further examine the reasons we believe that the Yeha temple, or Bayt al-Muqaddas, is the sacred place that preserved the Ark of the Covenant.
First, Bayt al-Muqaddas is an Abyssinian Giaz word meaning the place of worship where you put the Ark of the Covenant, the Tabut.